morning. How's everybody doing today? It's Jen. I'm out here in Denver this morning, and I've been so busy lately that I honestly haven't been balancing life and career and all the things like I'm supposed to do. Um, just running from one appointment to the next appointment and trying to switch put this buyer here and this seller here and make sure that I make all my appointments. It's been a little nuts, at least here in Denver. And, I got to thinking about it yesterday about the differences that one season to the next, have how these seasons have an effect on me. Because sometimes it seems like we are just crazy busy. And other times it seems like, we're dead in the water and we can't move forward. And a lot of that, especially this year, I think has to do with all of the distractions that we have in the real estate career and in the real estate industry in our career, right? So one of the things or many of the things that we do is we get distracted, right? So what are we distracted by? I see Allison's on here, Teresa's on here. Um, Tell me, jump on and talk if you want to. If not, that's fine. But one of the things that I noticed that we get distracted by are politics and the economy and interest rates, right? And we can sit there in that mindset and it can take away our ability to move forward. If we're constantly worried about what the interest rates are doing or, you know, who's the president or what's happening on the Congress floor or whatever, those things really do have a rather big impact on our mindset and our ability to move forward. The other thing that kind of gets us as real estate agents, one of the reasons I think a lot of real estate agents fail, is we get so caught up in what somebody else is doing that we view as successful, right? So I have done this in the past. Sometimes you get involved in coaching programs and they're like, you have to learn AI, or you have to have a YouTube channel, or you have to have TikTok. You have to be TikTok famous, or you have to implement this into your business, or you have to implement that into your business. Well, what happens, right? Does anybody else on this call want to jump in and tell me about this? Tell me what they've experienced with this, because I can tell you that the more information I get coming at me, sometimes the more distracted I get and the more stuck I get. I think distraction equals being stuck. And so then you kind of get overwhelmed, right? Does anybody else experience this? Hey, Jody needs to have a YouTube channel and she needs to implement AI this week. And Allison needs to do the CMA challenge and she needs to master TikTok and she needs to master video and she needs a new CRM and she needs to implement a chat box and she needs to do all these things, right? I'm not actually saying that you need to do these things. I'm saying that this is what we're constantly hearing. And so what does it do? It makes us stop in our tracks and get overwhelmed. You can't do that, right? So I recently heard another, big real estate influencer say that you just need to pick two. That's it. Because every single form of sorry, I just went blank. Every single form of getting business works, right? Does a CMA challenge work? Yes. We've seen real estate agents in the past or right now making, six figures or more just by doing CMAs. We've also seen the YouTube stars that take over a neighborhood and they are now organically getting business within their market. So what's my point? no matter what you do, TikTok, CMAs, all these things, it's going to work, right? But you have to find the things that are good for you. So there's two different types of prospecting. There's active prospecting and there's passive prospecting. Who in here, let's see, I think in the chat box, I'm seeing something. Lead stream, yes. I get overwhelmed with tech, not the news. I don't watch it. Same. It's all negative, designed for anxiety. You are 100% right. So when you're looking at these things, it makes you stagnant. When you're comparing yourself to other agents, you become stagnant. So let's move past that. When you are prospecting, what is working for you? Anybody jump in. I have the chat open now. Tell me what you like and what you need help with, and we can talk about them. But there's some other things I kind of want to go over too. So it's not. Yes, Allison, you are so right. It's hypnosis. You geographically farm. Yeah, we talked about that on another one. So that's good. So you have an active form of prospecting. So you're not going to fail. You're not going to be one of the 5 that quit the business this year because you're actively prospecting. Are you passively prospecting? So passively means running Facebook ads or building a YouTube channel or doing TikTok or any of those things, building your Google page.
Yes, I am doing a little bit of that. I was doing more when I had my VA, but she quit. So
No.
that's okay. I'll get another one.
Yeah.
When budget allows. I gotta get more deals first.
Yes, I completely understand exactly what you're talking about. And that's the catch-22 in our business as well, because we need to have this constant flow of, social media posts or, putting together the mailer or sending out the transactional emails or whatever it is your VA does. And when we don't have that, sometimes it takes away from our ability to get more business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about the distractions. The distractions really are the number one reason that most agents fail because they just get so caught up in what everybody else is doing and the sky is falling, the henny penny, the sky is falling, that we fail. Right? So we need to make sure that we have one active form of prospecting and we have one passive form of prospecting and that we're consistent about it. One of the objections, right? So let's talk about objections. So if anybody's been with a buyer lately or a listing lately, I guarantee you that you've heard this. You ready? I'm going to wait because I'm going to wait for the interest rates to come down, right? 1, if you're a buyer, or 2, I'm going to wait until the market improves and I can get more. Is anybody else heard that lately? Because I sure have. I'm actually dealing with it right now on one up in Fortune. So how do you overcome this objective, right? So you're out and about, you finally get through your distractions, you finally get your listing appointments or your buyer appointments, and you're like, Zach, Allison, yeah, you're for all sorts of life events. I'm going to wait till somebody graduates college. I'm going to wait for the interest rates. I'm going to wait for whatever. Listen, guys, until you retire. Okay. Listen, we have to learn how to overcome those objectives, right? And we also have to learn how to think out of the box, right? So in 2020 and 2019, how easy was it to sell real estate? Who did that market apply to? It applied to the people that were winning was basically everyone. Buyers, maybe not so much, but the market was moving really fast. The sellers wanted to sell. They were getting more for their market. Traditional sales were way up and we were slamming and jamming, right? Well, in this market, who wins in this market? So in every real estate market, somebody's going to win, right? So in this market, who's winning? So I'm bringing this back to prospecting, if you can foresee where my ADD brain goes, right? But who is winning now? Is it the investors? Is it the subject to guys? Is it the divorce people? Is it tax lien sales? Is it all of the above? Yeah, because what's happening in our market is property, or at least in Colorado, property taxes are going up, interest rates are going up, insurance is going up, and the strain on the household is causing, divorces. It's causing people aren't able to pay their tax bills. It's causing all these kind of issues, right? And a lot of people are looking for cash offers. They're looking for an easier way out of their house. So what my point to you is if you can look at your market and go, where can I jump into this market and thrive, right? How can I help people? Because traditional real estate isn't always the answer, right? So that's one way I want you to kind of shift your mindset when you're doing prospecting, right? Is think about, are there other tools that I can add to my toolbox that says, okay, I go on this traditional listing appointment, but they need to move fast. Can I get them cash offers? Right? Can I utilize like Homeward or the other one, Home Light, and have them get their money up front so that they can move, and then I put the house on the market later. Right? You got to think about different ways, right? And then you need to think about the objections and the issues with like currently what's happening to many sellers in the market. So many sellers are getting subject to offers, meaning this investor wants to take over their loan and then pay them off within 7 years. Well, why is that bad? Because a bank can call a note due, right? Or what if the investor goes out of business, right? And then they lose their house because they signed their house over, right? So you have to be able to think of everything that's actively going on in this market and then how you can overcome to win that listing and build the trust. So that was sort of what that was leaning into when you're prospecting, right? Just make sure you're adding the tools to your tool chest. Yes. And then back to the interest rate thing. My question is this. I literally had this conversation yesterday. So I'm going backwards in my conversation just so you can follow my ADD. When you get that, I want to wait till interest rates come down. I want to wait till I can get more for my property. So yesterday, my conversation with a lady up north is she didn't want to lower her price to what I had suggested, that my listing agent signed the listing at. She wanted to price it higher. It didn't sell. Now she wants to withdraw from the market. And I said, so do you still want to sell? Yes. Well, when are you wanting to put your house back on the market? Oh, I don't know, maybe in the fall. Well, why would you do that? Because right now is our highest selling period of the year. And the fall is generally one of the slowest times of the year. So if you don't think you're going to get 770 for it now, how are you going to get 770 for it in the fall? It's not going to happen. So we either need to lower the price now and we'll make it up for you on the other end, right? Because right now, if we, put your house under contract, let's say at 750, or we list it at 750 and we sell it at 750, if you're worried about that 20 grand, don't you think that we can go to the buyer with 76% of all contracts in Colorado having some sort of concession, don't you think that we can go to the buyer, to the seller of your next house, you as the buyer, and make up that 20 grand, offer 10,000 less, and then ask for 10,000 in closing costs? Yeah, you probably can. If you wait until next year and the prices do go up to 770, do you think that the houses that you're going to buy are also going to go up? Right? Yeah, they are. So my point is like when we're going through real estate and we're suffering, we just have to start thinking in a different way to overcome these objectives and overcome like not having business. Like we need to think as what the market conditions are and how we can win in it. So I was all over the board there as usual. Somebody jump in and ask me a question, put me back on track. Anything I just covered. Jody, what do you have going on in your market? What are your issues? Why do you think so many agents get into the business and don't make it? Or Allison? Or Teresa? Somebody jump in.
In my experience, it's not having good coaching, good mentors that are giving you solid advice. And then, people can get the advice all day long, be great note takers, but if they're not implementing it, nothing's going to happen. So I think that's where a lot of the failure is people first of all, don't have good coaching, don't have good mentors, and then they're not doing the things that they need to do to get that business and get out in front of people.
I agree with you 100%. So you jump into a coaching program. Did you ever hear that stat, by the way, that people pay for coaching and only 2%, gosh, that's funny. Oh, only 2% ever implement what they are being told. So of course there's a failure in there. And I do believe it. I 100% agree with your chat there. It comes down to overwhelm. I also call that being distracted, right? Because you jump into this program and they're talking about, oh, you got to do videos. Well, you do have to do that, right? Oh, you've got to, have your CRM in place. And then the person starts looking at the different kinds of CRMs, KV Core, Follow Up Boss, Top Producer, Sync, all of them. And then you're like, well, which one do I need? And then they'd spend 3 weeks thinking about which one to do. And before you know it, they're overwhelmed. Exactly what you just said. And they still don't have a CRM and they're not implementing anything. It's the same thing with like jumping into a coaching program and talking about video. You start worrying about lights and if this green screen is good enough and if this, or should I just do live videos outside or should I do green screen videos? What should I do? Right? Next thing you know, you're overwhelmed. So yes, I 100% agree with you. That is one of the biggest reasons that we have such a high failure rate in this business. So my point is, everybody can make it, and every single thing that you can do in real estate will work. It will. If you're doing videos, it will work. If you're doing YouTube, it will work. If you're knocking doors, though painful, it will work. If you're cold calling, there's guys doing cold calls right now making, over 7 figures. It does work. But you just have to pick it and go for it and make sure you understand what the market is doing and how you can fit into that market and provide a service. Yes, 100% overwhelmed.
Jen, can I throw myself under the bus for a second? So I also have the ADDs. I live with that. And there is a book that was suggested that I read, and it was about overwhelm or making decisions and not overthinking things. So here's where I throw myself under the bus because I got the book, I started reading it, and then got distracted by other things. So I think I need to like lock myself in a room, read that baby cover to cover because somebody told me they read it and it was very helpful for them. And so, it would greatly benefit me to read that book cover to cover and be able to make decisions and not overthink everything to death because we're never completely ready to do anything. My friend's about to have her first baby. She's like, I'm not ready. It's like, well, you're going to be as ready as you can be because you're never going to feel completely ready to do anything. So it's just not overthinking everything and doing it.
100%. Okay, so what's the other key to getting what's the other key to getting business? What do you have to do? I'm looking for a very specific thing here. One of the things we really have to do is we have to get in front of people, right? So, I have a really old school thing. If I can pull it up, I had it pulled up for us beforehand so I could drop it into the chat. Um, uh, okay, because it won't pull up, I'm just going to tell you. Okay, so look up a training called Core, and it's called Core Training, and they have this thing called the Greatness Tracker. And I'm going to try one more time because I can share it with the screen. Oh, here it is. Where is that? Quick access. Okay, sorry. Where'd you go? Zoom. I lost there. There it is. Chat box. Quick access. So one of the things whenever I bring in a new agent or talk to somebody who's struggling, I always give them what is called a greatness tracker. And this is very basic, but I just put it into the chat box. But what it does is it's a form that you put on your desk or in a file folder and you keep it with you at all times. Another thing that I do is I literally old school. Now you guys are going to do it different, I'm sure, but literally old school in my folder, which is out in the car right now. Sorry. I have a legal sized paper with lines on it that says name, divorce's date, name, phone number, notes, right? So if I'm driving down the road with severe ADD, somebody calls me and they want to list their house, or I get a lead and I'm talking to them, I'll pull over, write down their name, even though it's in my phone, because I have so many calls coming in that I'll be laying in bed like 5 hours later, and I'll be like, wait a second, I talked to somebody about cash offer. I didn't send them the thing. So I need to go back to my thing and see which person that was, right? And what did I promise them I was going to send, right? Am I going to send them a marketing email? Am I going to send them a value? Am I going to send them, cash offer, whatchamacallit? I'm sending them a lender. Oh my God, I don't remember which person was which. So I have that in there. And then I also have a greatness tracker. I don't use my greatness tracker as much anymore because obviously I don't need to handle much more. But if you're ever starting out using the greatness tracker that I just put in there, how many coffees or lunches or brunches, how many face-to-faces did you have and who was it? And then you write it down, right? You can put their initials if you want to. How many networking events did you go to? How many cold calls did you make? How many, maybe not even cold calls. Like if you went through all of your past clients and you just called and you said, hey, Susie, it's Jen. Remember I sold you your house? Yeah. How you doing? Yeah. Still like your house? Yeah. Okay. Do you ever need a value? or if you need anything like repairs or either way, just give me a call. I'm still around and I'm still selling real estate, right? Thanks, great. Or, hey, Bobby, I saw that your daughter just, went to Olympic trials. That's amazing. I hope she makes it, right? Just talking to people and you log how many you put in there. And the more you log, I promise you, the more conversion you're going to have. And you'll start seeing it if you do it every single week. By the end of the week, you usually have one appointment somewhere or two appointments, right? For every 26 people that you talk to, you generally get some sort of an appointment or lead. So I say utilize this greatness tracker if you're ever having issues in your business. Okay. Yes. Get in front of people on videos. Yes. 100%. You have to be in front of people. If you can do passive prospecting, meaning you can get in there and do like 3-4 videos at a time and then pre-schedule them on your social media accounts so that the people in your community can see you. The more exposure you're going to have, the more business you're going to get. And the more likely it is that when you get somewhere, they know you. The other thing that I'm finding really important right now is sometimes with some of my lead sources, I find that I'm up against, 2 other agents. And just that really basic video message that says, hey, it's Jenn. I'm going to meet you tomorrow at 3 for your marketing and strategy meeting. And never call it a listing appointment. We're going to go over your goals, what you need out of it, what you're looking for in an agent. And then I'm going to show you how I price houses. I'm also going to show you the kind of marketing that I do that differentiates myself from other people. And if you would like me to bring, estimated seller net sheets based off of a house that I haven't seen, go ahead and shoot me back your mortgage balance, and I can put low, medium, and high, estimators so you can get a general idea, no matter what we price it at, as to what your proceeds are going to be, right? So I do that. And then in my marketing email, which is very long, I go, so sorry, this is super long, but please read this before our meeting. And at the top, it says, hey, just so you know, we have, we can sell your house traditionally. I can procure cash offers. We can get the companies to buy your house now, let you move, and then I can sell it later. I also can utilize an auction. And most of these won't apply to you, but I just want you to know those auctions are out there. And then I have an example of my Zillow showcase. I have the examples of my drone fly-throughs of my single property websites. And then I have a list of like 100 things that I do when I'm listing a property. So make sure you read this before I show up so that when I do show up to your listing appointment, you don't have any questions. How great is that? So yeah. I think I went from like this topic all the way over to this topic, but so anybody else have any questions? Anybody have a question for me about anything I do in my business or anything whatsoever? I'm here for you to help you, move forward and get more business for yourself.
Jenn, I have a question. So I am right now, I'm in Southern Utah. I've been licensed for 2 years. I've closed 2 deals. I've got 2 more that I'm trying to close before we move on the 1st, which is in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm not panicking about that. I'm very excited. We're moving to Nashville, Tennessee. So basically I'm going to be kind of like starting over, but not really, because I've got all the skills that I've learned from the last 2 years and the experience. What are some of the first things you would suggest I do when I get there?
So what I suggest you do is really basic. You get into where you're going to live. You drive all the neighborhoods, right? So familiarize yourself with where the $1 million neighborhoods are, where the average homes are, where the know it all, right? then jump into your MLS and start pulling stats. Pull stats for, Nashville or this subdivision or this subdivision, right? Start to get to know your stats. Then look on Facebook and find all the business networking um, uh, social media pages, business networking places so that you can go and start meeting the roofers, the cleaners, the sewer line people, all those people. You want to jump in and find them immediately. And then you need to add them to your list of service providers. And, and then the other thing I would do is I would track in your MLS and see which real estate agents are the most successful and what they're doing. I might stalk them a little bit and just see what kind of responses they're getting on social media. What are they mailing? Are they doing any of those things? And because knowledge is power, right? You could be brand new at a market, and the more you know about that market, the more likely you are to get hired. Then I would just start doing some form of social media, and I would do it like one of the easiest things that I think you could do would be TikTok, and then repurpose the TikTok videos into like Facebook or whatever, and then make sure you're hashtagging the towns that you're focusing on. And I would make it generic real estate stuff. So I would talk about, um, things that come up on an inspection. Oh, that's another thing. When you're moving to Tennessee, the problems in Tennessee are completely different than the problems in Utah.
Yes.
Do you have water table issues? Do you have termites? Do you have tenting? Do you have like all these things that we don't have in Colorado, right? What are those big issues? And then I would start talking about like I might like do a Google Earth video down to like a random house, as long as you can't identify the house, right? That backs to an interstate and say, you know, do you think this house here is going to sell for more or less than this house here? And why is that, right? Or I might start talking about, buying new builds. Oh, that's another thing I would do. I would go to every single new build. I would meet every single sales rep. I would ask them how they choose their real estate agents, right? To help people sell and see if you can overcome an objection. Because like here, one of the guys that gets a lot of the new home, like the new home, sorry, the people that need to sell their house, they refer it out to him because he has a guaranteed buyout, right? Well, guess what? You can utilize a service like HomeLight to be your guaranteed buyout, right? So figure out how they are getting business and how you can get in there. And, I would visit them weekly so they know who you are, right? I know it's a little annoying, but that's what I would do. And then I would take their inventory homes, the homes that they have built, and I would ask them if I can advertise those on my social media page. So, hey, if you're looking for a new home in Nashville, Meritage Homes has 3.99% interest rates this week only. They're including landscaping, they're including appliances and window coverage. All you have to do is give me a call and I can take you, but make sure you take me with you, right? That kind of thing. The more you're posting in any community with, the hashtag of those communities, the more views you're going to get and the faster you're going to get established. Sorry, that was a lot of words in a 4-minute section, but
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
What do you think the number one thing that I just said is the easiest to implement?
Definitely the networking and building the vendor list. And then, I've been online already. I'm already in some Facebook networking groups and just like learning, like you said, about the issues that are more prevalent there than they would be here. So really all of it. And then, going to local spots because Nashville's very touristy. And we're closing on our home hopefully next week. So I know, I can start to kind of plan my farming area and where I'm going to want to go make a lot of videos and just get myself seen online in that area.
Yeah. And then you need to jump in and look at, find the list of all the lead services that you can find and see if you can get in on any of those lead services. Because your number one objective to survive this business and to start over is to get on the board at any cost. Get on the board, right? Because you have to be on the board for other people to want to work with you. They want to know that you have experience in the area, right? And you can get through a lot of that just by utilizing a lead service. So, yeah. And then, meet up go to the realtor socials, go to the board. Here we have Southwestern Denver Association, and the first Thursday of every month, they have a meeting for all the vendors, right? So there's roofers, there's warranty companies, there's title companies, there's all these people that go to the board and they're active in the board, and you have to be somewhat successful to pay to be an affiliate at the board. So those are really good quality people usually to jump in and be able to add those to your thing. And the more you know in the board and the more you get involved with the classes and the area stuff, the more successful you're going to be as well. So,
Got it.
yeah. Moms, yeah. Then I would start, I don't play bunco, right? But whatever neighborhood you're in, see if there's a mom's group, see if there's, or a something group, start a softball, co-ed softball league. It doesn't matter. Just
my jam here is everybody knows I find homes for animals and people. So I volunteer at my local animal rescue. I'm putting the dogs on my socials, helping them get adopted, and then just doing, related videos. So I don't have the freedom of not, having kids. We have old dogs, so like doing dog meetups and stuff like that.
Yeah, do that. And then just really heavy into your neighborhood, right? Jump into your neighborhood as much as you can. One of the most successful real estate agents here in Denver at EXP, her name is Brienne, and she hyper concentrates into her neighborhood of King Carl. And she does the, what do you call it? The tractor races or whatever. Broke down. Yeah, she does the neighborhood, like the 4th of July picnic, and then the fall, like the kid-friendly Oktoberfest, and she does the movie nights, and she does all that. And she just, the girl sells like 25 million plus homes every year because she's just hyper, and she's not driving all around town. I mean, she's brilliant. Right? She's unlike me, I drive everywhere.
Yeah, and that's one thing, because I grew up in Southern California. I lived in Washington State, so big cities. And here in Southern Utah, it's very small. I mean, you can really get anywhere in like 25 minutes. So going back to a big city, I'm just like, don't want to be sitting in traffic. So I love that, just kind of hyper focusing on than just being real present.
Hyper focus. I'm telling you, it's so much better than doing what I do. Yes, I'm successful, but I would give my right arm to go back to having my farm at 17%. So yes. And that brings me right back to the very beginning of this conversation. There's reasons that people make it in this business, and there's reasons that people fail, right? And the number one reason is you're distracted. Don't be distracted. Let's focus on one active source and one passive source and just keep going, right? And you'll make it in this business. I promise. Promise you will. Now, if you have any questions for me, if you want to reach out to me, I am easily found. My name is Jennifer Sells. I'm in Denver, Colorado with EXP. And, just find me on Google, hit the button, reach out, message, and I'm always available for everyone. So just hit me up. And I hope you guys have thank you.
Thank you. You too.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.